and welcome to another episode of Jam with Ram. You know, the series where I answer the questions you make me in the previous video. First of all, and before anything else, let me bring your attention to the clip you're going to see. A lot of people are saying that the new LA5s are bad. Well, no. When you have a good team in your back, or at least one good teammate, this thing is so damn amazing. So yeah, say that. Let's go to the questions. Ram, I understand if you don't want to answer this question, but how do you defeat a hammerhead? Lol. Well, first of all, why wouldn't I want to answer this question? I'm here to help you guys learning how to fly and how to have fun in War Thunder. Um, the way to defeat a hammerhead is not following it. If a guy, unless you have the speed to meet him at the top, of course. If a guy pulls vertical in front of you and you think you are fast enough to get him at the top of his move, follow him, because you're going to totally destroy him. But if you know you are not fast enough to catch him at the top, just don't follow. Keep on the horizontal and brace for defensive maneuvers, because he's going to come for you. But if you stay horizontal and you keep on going, you will be much faster and you will have a lot more options to avoid than if you try to follow up. Because if you follow up, you will lose all your speed, and when he comes down and bounces you, you will be out of options. You won't be able to maneuver fast enough to avoid his fire. So how to avoid a hammerhead? How to defeat a hammerhead? By definition, a well-executed hammerhead can't be defeated, but can be countered. And the way to counter it is not following it. Next question. Hey Ram, do you play any sports? I used to. Now, not anymore. I'm kind of a guy who doesn't move around a lot. I don't do a lot of sports. When I was a kid and until I was more or less 23 years old, I actually played football. I was a left winger, right-footed left winger, which is kind of interesting. But when I was 15, I got a really serious injury in my ankle. And when I was 23, I got exactly the same injury in the other one, and both were really serious things. I always knew I was never going to make professional, mostly because with that kind of injury you simply can't pass a medical test. But when I broke my second ankle, my left ankle, I simply stopped playing because I was having some serious problems. Actually, during almost 2 years in a row, when I was going to trainings and to games, to matches, I had my right ankle so I mean the injury results were kind of bad, and I had this tendency to get a swollen ankle each time I had some kind of high intensity exercise. And I actually experimented pain while training and while playing, so I actually was medicating myself in order to be able to play and train. And the supervision, of course, because my mother is a doctor, and she was the one who was putting the injections, the painkiller injections, to me, always making sure I could play. If I couldn't, she would simply say, "Fuck you, play if you want, but I'm not injecting you with any painkillers." So, well, the problem is that I got exactly a mirror injury in the other foot when I was 23, and I simply quit it. Was a really serious thing, and it has some serious and some funny consequences. The thing is, I totally torn my external ligaments in both ankles, so I have very little external support in them. And it's quite funny because when I'm just walking down the street, I might suddenly do a kind of S, because suddenly I am out of balance and I do an S, like recovering balance. And it's kind of what's fun to watch it, because it's so random. It simply suddenly happens that I go to a side, to the other side, and then I regain balance. So since then, no sports. Some golf, because my dad plays golf and He's actually pretty good at it, and now and then I go with him. But that's not what you call a high intensity sport. It's a very interesting sport. It's one that really, if you are not used to exercise, by the end of the day, you end up really tired. But it's not something like basket or tennis or paddle or other sports that I would actually like to play, but I can't. And I'm actually quite out of shape, mostly because I don't do any exercise. I can't really go out and just run around because by the end of the day, at the third day, my ankles will be totally swollen. Um, I could go to the gym, but it's boring as heck. I tried several times, and some months ago I was going regularly, but well, something happened that really took all the reasons I have to go away. Other than, of course, being fit. But I mean, I think I'm fit enough by the fact that I eat with a brain. I'm slightly overweight, but maybe 5 kilos, not a lot. I could get a really nice body if I work it out, but what's the point? I'm happy with how I am, and yeah, the thing is, gyms bore me to death. Really, they do. And sports, team sports, which are the ones that amuse me and that keep me distracted and keep me entertained. I can't. I simply can't, because a big part of them, of course, is your lower train, your foot, your legs. And if it's something which requires a lot of stress or a lot of intensity, um, I suffer in the long run. So yep, no, not really. I don't play any sports, sadly. Next one. Hey Ram, consensus on the forums seems to be that the P-51's high altitude performance is underperforming. What is your take on this? Well, first of all, let me tell you, go to the forums if you want to read some bullshit. There's nothing serious posted there. Trolls have taken over, idiots have taken over. There are I don't understand. I mean, there are people who start saying something, they are proven totally wrong, and they keep on saying exactly the same thing afterwards. It's like talking to a wall. They are full of whines. They are full of people who don't have a clue, and even worse, there are full of people who don't have a clue and they think they do. Um, Lately, we have reborn Major Novotny there giving lessons about how to fly a Focus 190 when he has absolutely no clue whatsoever. We have people who, for the first time in 25 years of experience I'm a total nut of World War II air combat. You can watch it, I mean, you can see it because I love air combat and have been since I was a kid. And maybe for 25 years I have been collecting books, reading stuff, visiting forums, taking part in discussions, in debates, and learning. And from the first time in 25 years, I have found people that discuss that the zero, when lighted and when burning, should burn to death, which is an historical truth that no one has denied until now. And the best part is that it's being discussed by people who 5 months ago didn't know even what a zero was. So just go to the forums and pay no attention, or simply don't go, because they are worthless. For that regard, they are worthless. For what it actually is, the P-51, yes, is underperforming at high altitude, exactly the same as every other fighter in War Thunder. At high altitude, there are some it's as simple as saying that high altitude mechanics are not properly implemented in War Thunder. Not yet. Intention is to incorporate them later stages because it's kind of a complicated thing to do. So it's not just the P-51 which is underperforming. It's also the P-47, it's also the TI-152, it's also the Focus 180 Dora, it's also the BF-109K4, it's also the Spitfire. All of the planes which were very good at high altitudes, they really suffer. And planes that were crap at high altitudes, like the N1K, for instance, the Japanese one, have stellar performances up there when they shouldn't. It's a problem with the mechanics of the game, not the actual flight model. And they can't fix the flight model because the problem is not with the flight model. The problem is with the high altitude mechanics. Sooner or later, they will fix it. Still, the P-51 is really good at high altitude. Really, really, really good. It's much better than most of the other planes in the plane set. It's not as good as it should be, but then again, a lot of other planes that should be as good or better at high altitudes aren't either. So it's not a problem with the P-51, it's a problem with the mechanics of the game. Next question. Ram, what's your favorite car or car company? Well, it depends a lot in what you are asking me about. If it's about which would be the supercar I would love to have, well, if I'm in a budget for a supercar, which is kind of stupid, but whatever, Lamborghini Gallardo. If I'm not in a budget, Lamborghini Aventador. Lamborghini is my favorite brand of supercars. They are simply crazy. They are crazy cars. And I love their looks. I love how nuts they are. I would probably never own one, even if I had the money, because I think it's wasting your money to spend your money in such a car. But it's my favorite supercar. If you are asking me about day to day, well, as a family car, probably the Ford Mondeo. As the car I own is a Ford Fiesta, and I'm super happy with it. It's a super nice car, really good, performs really good. It's economical, gets me wherever I want to go, and at a low cost and high comfort. I can't ask any more than that. And if you are talking about more kind of luxury cars, probably BMW. Mercedes is a little bit too expensive and too serious for my taste. It's too serious. But BMW, yeah, I kind of like them. But yeah, if I had to choice, if I'm in a normal budget, if I'm not rich, for a family car, I would go for a Ford Mondeo, and for more or less personal use, for Fiesta or Ford Focus. Ford, for me, is one of the best companies out there. Has never let me down, and I have had experiences with Opel, with Renault, and with Volkswagen. Well, actually, the Volkswagen was my first car. It was a very old Polo, and 4-year Polo, the little Polo, the Polito. I call it El Polito. Volkswagen was cool, but it was a very old car, so I don't have really first-hand experience with the brand. Opel was a disgrace, on a personal and family level, because actually, well, back then it was mostly my dad who got me the car, and he had a lot of trouble with Opel. Renault was okay, but Ford so far has been the one that the Ford is the one I've liked the most. So yeah, next question. This is not specifically a question. This is another comment about something I said in last Ram with Ram. Ram, I want some more of those videos where you use your joystick and track a year for a match. The problem is that no one wants to see that. Is from all the videos I have posted in War Thunder, the ones with the lowest viewer retention and the lowest views for the time being back then, of course, was the ones that I posted with the joystick. I got a less than 10% viewer retention. People simply don't want to see that. And if I'm going to spend the effort and the time to edit a video and to do a proper video and to spend time to give you a good gameplay, I want to do so knowing that people are going to appreciate it. And I know some of you guys want to see joystick and track a year gameplay. The problem is that not a lot want to. And I have to tend for the majority here, because I want to make videos that everyone enjoys. And sadly, those videos people don't enjoy. So I might do some in the future, but right now it's nothing that I have planned, to be honest. I would like to, but it's not in the plans. Sorry. And I hope you understand. The problem is that I'm running a channel with a lot of subscribers. Well, lot. For me, this is a lot of subscribers. For people like Jingles, this is laughable. But for me, what I have is a lot of people, and I really want everyone to enjoy the videos they see. and to learn something from the videos I see. And if I post, it's the same reason why I don't post Kerbal anymore, because it got so little views. They are nice videos, they are entertaining, I love making them, but I want to post things that you guys like to see. And sadly, if I see that the reaction is not good enough, I'm not going to keep on posting that kind of stuff. It's the same with FTL, for instance, a game I played an introduction video some time ago, and I said that if I had enough likes and views, I would post a let's play. I didn't get near close enough the amount of views I wanted. Even while the game is amazing, a lot of people who actually saw that video and commented said, yeah, 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 do it. But really, I have to tend for the majority here. You people are subscribed to a channel for a reason. You want to see interesting stuff. So I have to go for the majority and post the stuff you guys want to see. In general, not a small part. Still, I will try to put up something like that. I will try. I'm not promising anything here, but I will try to put something like that. Next question. Why don't you ever post any videos of Jets? I know you said you don't like them, but if you do play them, I would love to see some videos. Well, first of all, the thing is I love World War II air combat, and Jets is post World War II for the most part. I mean, there were some Jets in World War II, but it was Jet versus piston engine. There was never Jet versus Jet combat in World War II. So by going Jet versus Jet, you are instantly going into post World War II. So it's something that I don't really enjoy. I'm not interested in jet fighting for several reasons. They don't have the flavor that piston engine planes do. Still, they are in the game, and still, of course, I can own jets and I fly them now and then. The problem is the only jets I own are German. And the German jets have to go versus jets that are 5 years later than them. Think of it as if you are queuing in a historical battles, and you're queuing in a Gloucester Gladiator, and you find a BF-109K4. That's a similar comparison of what happens when you queue up in a jet, in a German jet, and you find an F9F Panther. It's the same technological gap. It's the same difference. I'm not going to say that it's impossible to win against them, because it's perfectly possible. If the other team is full of idiots, you are going to win, because it's always the pilot, not the plane. But the problem is if the other guys have a slight clue of what to do, you are powerless to fight them, because you are in planes that are so inferior that you simply can't fight them. And they are in planes that are so superior that are basically immune to you if they have a brain and they know how to fly. Besides the fact is that, well, you can see that as a challenge if at least the German planes perform as they should. The problem is they don't. Both the Henkel 162 and the ME262 have nowhere near the performances of the historical planes. They are actually underperforming by a wide margin. So you have planes that are from 2 generations before, actually, one generation is the first generation of jet fighters, and you're going versus the second generation of fighters. It's a whole technological gap between both, and you have to go in the lesser planes with crap performances because the planes are underperforming. It's no fun. It's insane. It's simply not fun. It's not something I like. I like challenges. You have seen me flying biplanes in historical battles just for the laughs. But when I do so, I know that I'm flying a plane that performs as it should, and I'm going against planes that performs as it should, as they should. The problem is with a German jet, I'm going in a plane that doesn't perform as it should, and I'm going versus one generation later jets that performs as they should, and they are going to blast me apart if the guy who's playing them has a clue. So it's simply unenjoyable. And besides the fact is that I don't really like jet versus jet gameplay. It's something that I'm not interested in. It involves something that I'm not really into. All my life I have liked air combat, but specifically World War II air combat. It's a niche that I love. It's where I'm in the zone. It's the planes that I like. It's the planes I really enjoy flying. Jets, they are okay for a change of pace now and then, but just for that, not for dedicated flying. When I hit level 20 in the Americans and I get the sabers, I won't be flying them. Maybe once a week or twice a week, just for a change of pace. But I'm not interested in that. Um, Still, of course, for the channel, when I get interesting gameplay and useful gameplay, I will put it up. But right now, I see no sense in putting up videos of vastly underperforming planes going against. Is Would you guys enjoy watching how I go up in a Gladiator against a Focus 190 Door at 13 or a TI 152 and do absolutely nothing but get slammed to hell? Because this is what's going to happen. You are going to see nothing. You are going to see me flying, trying to avoid desperately because I can't do anything because I don't have the performance to do anything else, and finally I'm going to get killed. And that's basically jet gameplay for Germany right now, unless of course you are going against total derps, and then there's no real reason to brag about. It's like, ooh, look, I'm cool. I have killed two MiG-9s in a underperforming Henkel 162. There's no reason to brag about that, because if you get a MiG-9 with a Henkel 162, it's because the MiG-9 has no clue on what he's doing. So the thing is that I don't think I have flown jets. I have some on record. Well, not yet, because I actually deleted it, but I recorded me flying jets. But the problem is that the gameplay was so lame, was so boring, was so useless. It was either me getting totally owned or me owning noobs. There's nothing challenging in that. There's nothing, at least from my point of view, there's nothing interesting in that. There's nothing you guys can learn something from. There's absolutely nothing there that really interests, or I think interests people other than seeing me in a jet, which I guess in a way might be entertaining. I don't know, let me know. But the problem is, all the videos I have gotten with a jet, none of them has produced anything worth watching. None of them at all. It was either me slamming noobs or me getting slammed by planes for a second generation of jet fighters, and where I simply couldn't do anything to defend myself. So, well, you guys, let me know if you really want to see that. If you really do, I will put something up. But so far, I thought until now that it was simply uninteresting for the channel, because nothing good can come out from those videos other than just that, watching a jet in the screen. But I don't know. So yeah, guys, let me know if you really want to see that. If you do, I will try to put some videos up about with a Henkel 162. The Comet I don't fly. The Comet is broken in so many ways. In some ways it's overperforming, in many ways it's underperforming. So it's kind of a thing that I don't really want to fly. But if you want to see something with a Henkel 162, well, let me know. I will try to put up something. But really, guys, let me tell you this: it's going to be boring as hell. Boring, and you're going to learn absolutely nothing from watching me flying a Henkel 162. Anyway, on your hands, it's you who decide. Next question. Ram, what kind of statistics do you need to have to be a good historical battles pilot? Stats mean nothing. Stats are useless. You have seen me in this channel posting videos of me killing absolutely no one and doing a hell of a job. Kill-death ratios are useless to measure a pilot. What measures a pilot and what gives you the true measure of how good or bad he is his flying. Is how good he is, how self-reliant he is. It's even more... I mean, there are people who stat pad in this game. There are people who go for the AIs on purpose. And they might get 4 AIs in a game and then get killed, and that's a 4v1 KD ratio. That's worthless. The guy is a stinker, but still he has nice stats. Let me give you an instance. You are in a, let's say, map versus the Americans, for instance. Let's say Ruhr, okay? You climb at maybe 4,000 meters, and you engage one bomber, Then you dive on a couple of lawnmowers and kill them, and then fight off some bouncing enemies and get killed. Okay, you have let's say you have killed 3 enemies and you have died. It's a 3v1 kill days ratio, and you have done well. I mean, you have done your job. Now picture yourself in the same battle in the same team, but instead of doing that, you go up to 6,000 meters and you are up alone there, and you meet 2 enemy planes higher than you, and you fight them off, maybe for 5 minutes, 6 minutes. You are keeping them distracted and you are avoiding them to bounce the rest of your team, which is doing their job down there, killing the rest of the enemy team, killing ground targets, doing that kind of stuff. So in the end, you fight off those 2 guys until you simply can't anymore. You take one out. Let's say you kill one of them, but the other finally overcomes you because it's a 2v1, and in the end you get outplayed. They are good players, they are good pilots, and you get killed. You end the battle 1v1. 1 kill, 1 death. But your team has won, because you kept those 2 guys at bay. 2 guys that could have bounced and boom and summoned them to death for the rest of the game. It's you who made the victory. It's you who allowed your team to win. And let me ask you, who's a better pilot? The one that gets a 3v1 by going at mid altitudes? Or the guy that goes up there, puts his balls at stake, and engages the highest enemies, even if they are at a disadvantage, just to keep them off from boom and summing your team? Who's the better fighter? Who's the better pilot? Stats mean absolutely nothing. Whoever is bragging about his stats is an absolute utter moron and retard who has no clue about this game and about air combat and about how they should fly their planes. It's as simple as that. So yeah, you don't need good stats to be a good historical battle pilot. You need to be a good teammate. You need to be someone who's willing to sacrifice his kill-death ratio for the better of the team. You need to be the one who gives up a position behind the 6 of an enemy to clear off the 6 of a friendly. You need to be the one who climbs even while no one else in your team does. It's never going to give you the kind of stats you are going to get if you don't do all that, but it's going to make you a hell of a pilot and a much better player. So that's my take. You don't need stats, you need flying. Next question. Hey Ram, I saw in some videos that you sometimes get messages from random people, and I was wondering if you are bothered by it or what. Hint, I want to message you all, with all the spam in the world and drive you crazy like people have done to Jingles. I'm nowhere in the level where I'm actually spammed. I get a lot of private messages. Sometimes I can answer them, sometimes I can't. A lot of times happen that I'm simply not in front of the computer, and for whatever reason I have forgotten to close up War Thunder, and I get a lot of messages that when I come back I'm like, oh shit, look at all these people I never answered to. I'm not bothered by it, but of course I only have the subscribers I have. I'm guessing that if I ever have 100,000 subscribers, things will get a little bit out of hand, and probably by then I will probably be bothered by it. Jingles is a very extreme case, really. What he suffers is not spam, it's beyond that. I mean, yesterday we were flying together and he had one guy, I'm not kidding here, this is true, he had one single guy who sent him in excess of 80 squad invitations in the time span of what? 5 minutes. He was getting windows open from messages of people he had blacklisted, because if you have someone blacklisted, you don't read what they say, but if they open a window with you, the window will appear in your chat box. It's a serious problem for people with a lot of subscribers. I have nowhere near the problem Jingles has, thankfully. I hope, I wish someday I do, because that will mean this channel has gone really well and that has made it big. But in the meantime, no, I'm not bothered by it. If I ever am bothered by it, I will tell you. Don't worry. So you can spam me to death. Next question. It's time for the weird question of the week. There's always one. Ram, if you were gay, could you marry Jingles? After all, he told you that you're so sexy. I think it's a little bit too mature for me. Next question. This comes from a Spanish subscriber. Ram, have you ever thought about doing some videos on the channel in Spanish about War Thunder? I think this would be great for those who don't speak English very well. This is a decision I took very early on when I started making videos. I wanted to make these videos reach as far as they can and to the widest audience possible. If I start doing videos in Spanish, I'm going to spend time I could be spending in making videos that are going to be useful for a much larger audience. It's a time versus effectivity thing. No, I'm not going to make any videos in Spanish. And the reason is that there is a lot of people who speaking English in a lot of countries, more than people who understand Spanish. And I can reach much wider audiences by doing this in English and in Spanish. So no, I'm not planning to do that, and I have been asked several times to do so. But the problem is that I have the subscribers I have, and from them a very small percentage, less than 5%, come from Hispanic speaking nations. So it's kind of using my time and my limited editing resources and my limited upload time to put videos that very few people are going to be able to enjoy. So no, it's not going to happen. Sorry. Next question. Ram, are you going to make tank analysis in War Thunder? Oh hell yes. Yes, of course I will. No question about that. Absolutely, totally, utterly, yes. Next question. This one is kind of interesting. Everyone loves when English talks about history. Could you educate us on the history of the Spanish Civil War? Well, you have to understand that being Spanish, I can't be really objective about the Spanish Civil War. I try to. At least I think I have read enough about both sides and both sides of the fence, both parts of the story. And I think I'm as objective as a Spaniard can be. Of course, being Spanish, I have family related histories which are from that time, and they are not nice at all. It's not really terrible. The thing is that when I tackle this history and I talk about history, I want to be objective. And given that I have my own personal political opinions, which I'm not going to enter into because this is not a channel about politics and I'm never going to enter into politics, and given that the Spanish Civil War is still a politic theme today in Spanish politics, if I start talking about that, some of my personal beliefs are going to mix into that. Probably will end up in some nasty political discussions, which I don't want to enter. I can't speak about World War II because I think I'm really objective about that. I'm an outsider. Spain was neutral in World War II. I have read accounts from both sides of the story, and I have no personal experience, no personal stories, no family stories related with World War II. So I don't have any personal bias, and I think I can speak about that. About World War II, all you want, but about Spanish Civil War, I could, but I'd rather refrain to, because as I told you, Spain is really politicized today. It's very divided in two sides. It's very little place for a middle ground. I try to be a middle ground, but being in the middle ground in this country means that the guys in the right are calling you a red, and the guys in the left are calling you a fascist. And it's as simple as that. It's sad, but it's truth. The thing is that today Spain is so politicized, and the civil war even 78 years after 78 years after it happened. I mean, it's been more than 75 years since it was going on. 74 since it ended, and it's still a thing from now. It's nowadays story. It's something that still is alive because this country and its politicians never could walk away from that. The thing about the past is never forget, but try to forgive. The thing about the past is try to move on, learning from the past. I think that in this country we learned nothing from the past. And what brought us to fight brothers versus brothers was exactly the same things that are happening today in a different situation, economic situation, thankfully, different social situation. But it's the same story. We learn nothing at all. And probably it's because a lot of things, I don't know. The thing is that the politicians' irresponsibility about this matter and the people's lack of will to learn from what actually happened and not from what they are told is really preventing this nation to move on and to simply leave the past in the past, which is something I admire from other countries. That past is past, let's learn from it and let the past be in the past. Next question. Ram, what do you think about GTA 5? I like the GTA series, but right now I'm so busy with War Thunder and other stuff that I don't have time to play anything else, and I haven't purchased a GTA. I will do so eventually for the PlayStation. I'm not going to do for the computer because I'm convinced that the graphics are going to be crap because of the. I mean, the laptop is not bad, but that's a latest generation title, and I'm guessing it's not going to be easy or nice to see in the computer. I will probably sooner or later will get it, but it's one of those titles that you spend playing 3 hours in a row at the end of the day, and I simply don't have that time. I have my hands full with War Thunder, with editing videos, with uploading videos, with doing video related stuff and computer channel related stuff, and then I have a real life I have to attend. I have to look for a job. I'm studying for sorts of an position. I'm doing my personal life. I have to go out. I have to have a social life. So right now I can't think anything about GTA 5 because I don't have it. I think that it's mad the extremes people reach to get a game. I have read, as all of us have, the madness that was surrounding the release of the game. I think I don't know exactly what kind of society we live in that a game like that being released causes all the stuff that has happened. The game in themselves I like a lot. I like the GTA series. I started playing GTA with San Andreas. I played GTA 4 a lot. I love it to bits. And probably I will like GTA 5 a lot, but I don't like the things surrounding the game, what people make of the game. But I guess that's how society goes. In many ways I'm scared about society today, but well, whatever. Next question. This one comes from Facebook. Hi Ram, I have a question for Young with Ram. What Italian pattern would you like to be implemented in the game if you have to choose between the G55 Centauro, the Reggiane 2005 Sagittario, and the MC205 Veltro? Do you think one of these planes could bring something more to the German tree, or there's no sense in putting them in the game? From all of them three, I will go with the Centauro, the G55. I think it was the best all-around plane of them all. I also think it was the best airframe of them all. And the technical, well, I have read some technical things about the Italian Series 5. Out of the three planes, the one that better took the Daimler-Benz engine was the G Series, the G50, turning it into a G55. Because the airframe was for whatever reason, it simply happened that it could take the engine with the less modifications and with the highest efficiency. For me, it was the best of them all. I would like to see them all three in the game. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be. They were all production planes. They were also combat. They all were in World War II, and they all should be in War Thunder. I of course think they will bring something more to German trees. They are excellent planes, excellent fighters, without a question. Probably the MC-205 was the more limited one, or at least is what I have read about them. And if I can say so, I would love to see a premium G56 and the G55, but with a Daimler-Benz C603 engine. That thing was a monster. I mean, to get an Italian plane and to get the Luftwaffe High Command to think about totally stopping the production of Bf-109s to start producing that thing instead, it should have been really good. And it was. Performance-wise, you can see the stats of that plane. And keep in mind that the prototype of the G56 didn't have methanol water injection. So the real performance of that plane could have been something staggering, and it was a 1943 plane. Yeah, that for a premium would be lovely. But for the regular trees, I don't see why any of those can't make it into the game. And out of the three, I will go for the G55. Yep. One last thing, and that's a question that was posted 2 weeks ago, and I didn't answer in my last round with Jam with Ram, because what I decided was to do a special video about it. But in the end, it turned out not to be, because, well, 1.35 was released, a lot of stuff had to be put up to keep up with the progression of the game, with the new patch, etc. And it was a question that was posted, as I told you, 2 weeks ago in the Jam with Ram of that week. And the question was, what do I think about an ebook called In Pursuit, which is, so far that I know, the only ebook which was written specifically for online virtual pilots. Was written by a veteran of Warbirds, Aces High, and World War II Online. And you can find it in the link you are going to find in the description below. I think it's a work of art. It's spectacular. It's the Bible of the online pilot. It tackles with things as psychology, performance, air combat maneuvers, everything that's important, everything that you should keep in mind. It tackles things like turn fighting, boom and zoom, enemy fighting. How should you go into a fight? How should you get ready to a fight? How not to get angry or pissed at the game, because that's going to worsen your flight. It's a piece of art, a really exceptional one. I wanted to do a special video about it, but simply I didn't have the time. So yeah. Instead of answering it in a specific video, which was what I had planned, well, this is what I did instead. I don't have the time to. I was really looking forward to doing it, but no, it's not possible. So, yep, that's going to be for this week of Jam with Ram. We are running out of time and footage for this particular video, and it's been actually pretty long. As always, let me give those who donated to the channel a huge thank you. Words can describe, again, I have said it a lot, and I say it again, words can describe how thankful I am for all of those you guys who see my videos. That's enough. But if you go one step further and you donate, is really humbling. Really, thanks to those who donated. You can see them now in the rolling screens, in the rolling credits in the screen. So yep, that's it for this week's of Jam with Ram. As always, guys, don't forget to post your comments and questions in the comment section below. Upvote those questions you want to see answered for the next week. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and when life's a little easy, the stress from the world outside, every longer will be alright.